From Royal Communications Incorporated, pleasant good morning. Welcome to King's Newsroom for the 5 minutes of high-grade balance and credible news about Liberia and the rest of our one word. Today is Wednesday, September 17, 2025. My name is Cornelius Johnson presenting this morning. Story top in the headlines: Women's Legislative Caucus of Liberia demands immediate, impartial, and thorough investigation of Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports on rape allegations as civil society group movement against rape and gender-based violence issues 24 hours ultimatum against government. Proposed death penalty for drug traffickers and importers rejected by several lawmakers describe it as a total violation of international human rights standards and possible damage of Liberia's global image. United Methodist University suspends social science lecturer Sarah Johnson days after a viral leak audio recording says the suspended lecturer has been placed on full investigation. Away from Liberia, fears that South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, could plunge into a new civil war have intensified after the party of suspended Vice President Riek Machar called for regime change. And police in Somalia have arrested 4 TikTokers for allegedly insulting President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed in a dance video. The bulletin of news, the voices of the newsmakers are all packaged in this edition of the program. We take a very short break to be right back. The Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia says it is deeply disturbed by recent reports of an alleged rape allegation involving Brian McGill, Deputy Minister at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. In an official statement under the signature of Representative Ellen Atore, chairperson of the Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia, the caucus describes the allegation as serious and call for swift action. The statement added that the caucus strongly condemned any form of sexual and gender-based violence and expressed solidarity with the 14-year-old rape survivor. According to the WLC, it views this matter with utmost seriousness and remains committed to ensuring that justice is pursued without fear or favor, further calling on the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Justice to launch an immediate, impartial, and thorough investigation into the case. The caucus also urged all relevant authorities to ensure that due process is followed and that the rights of all parties, especially the victim or the alleged victims, are protected. At the same time, the Women Legislative Caucus demands that the survivor be placed in a safe home or protected environment where she can receive psychological or psychosocial support and remain shielded from intimidation, bullying, or undue influence during the course of the investigation. In a related development, a civil society group, Movement Against Rape and Gender-Based Violence, has issued a 24-hour ultimatum to the Liberian government to suspend, arrest, and prosecute Brian McGill, Deputy Minister for Youth Development at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, for allegedly raping a 14-year-old girl. The group said failure for the government to take action within 24 hours, it will rally 500 women to stage a protest in demand for justice for the 14-year-old rape survivor. Movement Against Rape and Gender-Based Violence also criticized the government of Liberia for what it called deliberate delay in prosecuting the alleged rapist. McGill is accused of raping a 14-year-old girl, the daughter of the Deputy Chief of Security at the Youth and Sports Ministry. Several Liberians, including prominent figures, have since condemned the Deputy Minister's alleged action and called for his immediate prosecution. Movement Against Rape and Gender-Based Violence argued that the accused Deputy Minister continued to walk around freely instead of being arrested, investigated, and dismissed from office. During a press conference in Pittsburgh, a spokesperson of the group described the government's handling of the case as an act of gross insensitivity and to the survivors of sexual abuse. The movement against rape and gender-based violence is calling for McGill's immediate suspension, arrest, and prosecution in line with Liberia's rape laws. Maserati County District 3 Representative Smo Moba has rejected calls by some lawmakers for death penalty against drug traffickers and importers. In a statement, Representative Moba warned that such proposals violate international human rights standards and could damage Liberia's global image, especially as the country holds a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. He emphasized that Liberia is bound by international treaties, including the Second Optional Protocol to the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, which bans capital punishment. Representative Moba, a public policy expert, called for a three-part strategy to combat drug crimes: prevention and education, rehabilitation, and strong enforcement backed by proper funding and international cooperation. He urged fellow lawmakers to uphold the law, act responsibly, and avoid measures that could undermine Liberia's credibility or development goals. Mobile concluded that life imprisonment and investment in drug control systems are more effective and immune alternatives to death penalty. The United Methodist University has announced an immediate suspension of one of its lecturers, Cyrus Johnson, days after being heard in a leaked audio requesting money from students in exchange for passing grades. Johnson also teaches social science 201 at the University of Liberia. He serves as a lecturer in the social science department of both the University of Liberia and the United Methodist University. The suspended lecturer leaked audio recordings have gone viral in which he is heard demanding students from the UMU who failed his course to pay him 50 United States dollars for passing grades, while University of Liberia students are being asked to pay 25 United States dollars. A statement released by the UMU administration Tuesday disclosed that Johnson has been suspended and placed on a full investigation. Johnson's leaked audio recording have sparked major concerns among citizens as several university students have begun expressing their experiences with instructors regarding money for grades. The state-run university is yet to publicly announce administrative action against Sarah Johnson since the release of the leaked audio. The National Public Health Institute of Liberia has disclosed that recent tests conducted remains of a man who reportedly died on a ship on high sea did not show any sign of Ebola, neither any contagious disease. The Institute's Director General, Dr. Dube Christian, said results from the samples collected from the remains proved negative. Addressing a press conference held in Congo Tuesday, Dr. Nyang cautioned the public to continue following all preventive measures, including hands washing and keeping of distance from each other. According to the Director General of NFIL, the public needs to be informed regularly in the wake of the alarm that was raised by the Ministry of Health recently. Chief Justice Yamin Gweze has admitted that the courts have been commercialized, thus making people flee because of fees attached by some clerks and bailiffs of the judiciary. Chief Justice Gweze, according to our judicial correspondent, said that all staffers are employed, and if they are not satisfied with their salaries, the market is open for them to go and do business. He revealed that clerks, bailiffs, and sheriffs and recorders are charging unnecessary fees, and later urged people, including lawyers, to recall anyone charging exorbitantly and bring their complaint to him. The priest of the High Court further said he has constituted a four-man standing committee headed by Assistant Court to carry the complaints of all staffers engaged in charging people. He made a statement during the opening of the Civil Law Court for September term, consistent with Chapter 3, Section 3.8 of the Judicial Law of Liberia. In strengthening community-based approach to end sexual or gender-based violence, the National Center Response for Coordinating in partnership with West Point Women for Health have ended a one-day stakeholders advocacy and empowerment meeting to promote women's empowerment access to information. Speaking at the one-day forum in Monrovia Tuesday, Cecilia Tennyson, coordinator of the National Center for Response for Coordinating, said the institution goal is to foster a collaborative approach to address critical issues and drive positive change within the community. According to her, women are empowered if they are provided resources, information, and opportunities needed to make their own decisions and reach their full potential. She also expressed necessity of ensuring women and girls have access to accurate and comprehensive information about their sexual and reproductive health. Madam Tennessee vowed to ensure that her organization engaged with various stakeholders, government officials in making sure women are empowered. Sino County Senator Augustine Chi has awarded full scholarships to several students attending the Gara Hill Christian High School aimed at boosting education in the county. Speaking Tuesday, Senator Chi said the initiative is part of commitments made to students during the 2023 presidential and general elections. He emphasized the importance of perseverance, encouraging students to stay focused on their education as they prepare to become future leaders. Senator Chie also announced plans to build playgrounds at various schools across the country intended to create a child-friendly environment that keeps students engaged and present on campus during regular school days. A pro-female campus-based organization, the Women on Women at the Louis Attergren School of Law at the University of Liberia, has donated large quantity of food items and sanitation pads to the Japanese Liberia maternal ward at the John F. Kennedy Hospital in Monrovia. Speaking during the presentation, president of the organization, Azata Jones Howard, said that donated items were intended to buttress the hospital's efforts in catering to babies and their mothers. She also encouraged the management team at the hospital to ensure that the items donated reach the target beneficiaries in order to reduce daily burden faced by most of the pregnant women and baby mothers. Receiving the items on behalf of the hospital administrator of the Liberia Japanese Maternal Hospital, David Hector Parker Saliv, thanked the women and women at the Louis Attergren School of Law for the donation. The donated items cost is put at 2,000 United States dollars. Items donated include bags of rice, cartons of toilet tissues, bags of pen pals, cartons of Clorox, cartons of washing soap, among many others. The National Identification Registry is expected to open about 500 enrollment centers throughout the country to accelerate production of national identification cards for citizens and foreigners in a couple of months. The registry's executive director, Andrew Peters, said the opening of the centers will follow President Joseph Boakar's approval. He made a disclosure when he spoke at the occasion marking the observance of the International Identification Day organized by the National Identification Registry in Painesville on Tuesday. According to Peters, the National Identification Registry has the professionals and will be able to enroll the entire population in the country in 2 years. And the head of the Christian Association of the Blind in Grand Bassa County, Robert Prado, has described the eating condition of people living with disability as rarely able to afford their daily meals. According to him, they normally go without food in the morning and afternoon and only have a single meal in the evening. Prado explained that the center's residents have been struggling to secure enough food to sustain themselves, adding that they rely largely on goodwill gesture from individuals and organizations. He noted that government officials only tend to identify with them during major holidays. Beyond food insecurity, Prado pointed to the poor state of their environment, describing it as unconducive for people living with disabilities. He added that the challenges have extended beyond hunger, as the lack of basic facilities have increased their hardship. The news bulletin will take a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you the voices of the newsmakers. Indeed, if you just join us, it's a reminder you are in tune to King's Newsroom. 45 minutes of accurate, balanced, incredible news about Liberia and the rest of our one war. One of our top stories this morning: the Women's Legislative Caucus of Liberia demands immediate, impartial, and thorough investigation of Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports on rape allegations as civil society group Movement Against Rape and Gender-Based Violence issues 24 hours ultimatum against government. Let's now bring you voices of the newsmakers. Today's development now. Movement Against Rape and Gender-Based Violence has issued a 24-hour ultimatum to the Liberian government to suspend, arrest, and prosecute Brian McGill, Deputy Minister for Youth Development at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, for allegedly raping a 14-year-old girl. The group said failure for the government to take action within 24 hours, it will rally 500 women to stage a protest in demand of justice for a 14-year-old rape survivor. Movement Against Rape and Gender-Based Violence also criticized the government of Liberia for what it called deliberate delay in prosecuting the alleged rapists. During a press conference in Painesville, the group described the government's handling of the case as an act of gross insensitivity to the survivors of the sexual abuse. The Movement Against Rape and Gender-Based Violence is calling for McGill's immediate suspension, arrest, and prosecution in line with Liberia rape laws. Here now is the group calling for prosecution.
Say no to rape! Say no to rape! Our voices matter. Say no to rape! I'm just a child. I'm just a child. Say no to rape! We demand justice. We ask the government to come in. We demand justice. We ask that President Joseph Nyoma Bonta take the bold step and let justice be done to the victim. Let the minister go through the right procedures and be interviewed, investigated fully.
We are giving the government 24 hours to say something, because after that 24 hours, if the government comes to say anything, we can assure the government that Monday, the first working day, we will gather 500 women at the Ministry of Youth and Sport. If you call us to butt nigga ourselves, we'll butt nigga ourselves. If you call us to lock down the country, we'll lock down the country.
What you're saying.
I'm serious with what we are saying. 500 women. If it calls for us to lock down the country, we'll lock down the country. So we are calling on the government for justice. We want the government to dismiss the minister and let him face justice. We feel that the government wants to compromise the case because he's a minister, is one of them. So it's a shame to the government, our minister is supposed to protect the young one, raping them. So the government wants to compromise the case. There's a non-political movement. These children don't know nothing about politics. There's a 24 hours. If the government don't say anything, the government should await our next action. If the government refuses, the government should get ready for our next action.
Movement Against Rape and Gender-Based Violence, they're issuing a 24-hour ultimatum to the Liberian government to suspend, arrest, and prosecute Bill McGill, Deputy Minister for Youth Development, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, for allegedly raping a 14-year-old girl. The group describes the government's handling of the case as an act of gross insensitivity to survival of the sexual abuse. The National Public Health Institute of Liberia has disclosed that recent tests conducted on the remains of a man who reportedly died on a ship on high seas did not show any sign of Ebola, neither any contagious disease. The Institute's Director General, Dr. Dubé Christian, said results from the samples collected from the remains proved negative. Addressing a press conference held in Congo-town Tuesday, Dr. Nyang cautioned the public to continue following all preventive measures, including hands washing and keeping distance from each other.
We were informed that there was a body from a vessel, where that vessel originated from, where it was going. The details are not to our knowledge, but we know that the vessel did not dock in the DRC Congo. It came all through, and then on sea in international waters, there was a body on board from which the samples were extracted. The body was brought onto the Liberian shore. Again, how that happened is not to our knowledge. Those are questions that we are asking ourselves. But what we did as NPHIL, the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, is to extract samples from that body in order to test those samples, since the information circulating from that MOH memo indicated suspicion of viral hemorrhagic fever, suspecting Ebola or Marburg. This extensive test will specifically test for the different subtypes of Ebola. Once we knew that that body was on the Liberian soil, and we got the information from wherever that it was suspected of being infected with VHF, viral hemorrhagic fever, which include Ebola and Marburg, our duty was immediately to activate our response surveillance arm. And they went immediately, took samples, because that's the first thing we do, to confirm whatever information we got or to rule out. And so we did play our part, and hopefully that helped. When that result came out, that helped to allay the fears of the population and calm the population down, to reduce the panic. And consistently we are doing that so that the public is aware.
The National Public Health Institute of Liberia Director General Dr. Dubai Christian. In strengthening community-based approach to end sexual or gender-based violence, the National Center Respond for coordinating in partnership with Western Women for Health have ended a one-day stakeholders advocacy empowerment meeting to promote women's empowerment and access to information. Speaking at the one-day forum in Monrovia Tuesday, Cecilia Tennessee, coordinator of the National Center Response, said the institution goal is to foster a collaborative approach to address critical issues and drive positive change within the community. According to her, women are empowered if they are provided resources, information, and opportunities needed to make their own decisions and reach their full potential.
Somebody will not just say, my brother, because you will agree. And from there, you get your children, and the children will learn from you in the home. Anything the men do in our home, the children will raise up to be the same thing. They were taking and putting a man to be beating his children, that beating his wife, beating the one. But when you see his father, the brothers will learn how to love their wives when they're coming up. Right? That's how you treat your man, or you treat your wife. That's how your sons will treat their wives. But if they see whole day, you just boo, boo, boo. When they wake up to the thing that's only good, they start on their wives. That's why God today's society just looking the kind of way looking. Now we're talking about rape. You go in the community, small boy don't run behind the small girl and they stand. Now who can run behind the small girl? Then I mean talk you.
Sogapi.
They will not go to their equal level. I know because they feel that the small children now girl seems to ask for more money or to ask for demand. Because you know salary you can't know it in what they know inside the back. Hey, that one there when you go there say you know prepare. But they know no children, they're not preparation team. They just do what they want to do and then leave the children vulnerable. Before you know, those children got unwanted pregnancy. Then they will deny those bellies. Then you see that child, man. That the man ain't suffer inside. Yeah. When they not go and get that kind of thing, then they can't. Then the part that will not just now.
She's Cecilia Tennessee, coordinator of the National Center Response. She was speaking in strengthening community-based approach to end sexual and gender-based violence. in partnership with West Point Women for Health. Uh, Today's development now, Sano County Senator Augustine Chi has awarded full scholarships to several students attending the Garahor Christian High School aimed at boosting education in the county. Speaking Tuesday, Senator Chi said the initiative is part of commitments made to students during the 2023 presidential and general elections. He emphasized the importance of perseverance, encouraging students to stay focused on their education as they prepare to become future leaders.
We are here to tell you that we'll be providing some financial support to the students here. Yesterday, I launched a 2.2 million Liberian scholarship program for the Sano schools. All right? We started that yesterday. We went from school to school. And your school is one of the schools that's supposed to benefit from that. So that's what I came to tell you. Isn't that good news? Yes! Thank you. So that's what I came to tell you. I also want to tell you that I think you have heard that I provided playground equipment for some schools, right? Yes. You go to some of the school, demonstration, melody, Cecilia Lepe, you see them. All right? So if we are given a space here to do that for you, if the school will give us a place to do that for you, yes. I also want to let you know that I will do that for you too. They'll put on a bulletin so that you see your name. Once your name is there, and your parents are paying your tuition for this year, your parents are paying your tuition, it means that the school will give back that money to you. Okay? If you are not paying at all, then you don't have to pay again. You don't have to pay at all. All right? Then that money will cover it.
He's Sano County Senator Augustine Chi there speaking. Indeed, if you just joined us, a reminder you are in tune to King's Newsroom for the 5 minutes of aggregate balance, incredible news about Liberia and the rest of our one word. Today is Wednesday, September 17, 2025. I'm Cornelius Johnson presenting. Story topping the headlines: Women's Legislative Caucus of Liberia demands immediate, impartial, and thorough investigation of Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports on rape allegations. A civil society group, Movement Against Rape and Gender-Based Violence, issues 24-hour ultimatum against government. Proposed death penalty for drug traffickers and importers rejected by several lawmakers describe it as total violation of international human rights standards and possible damage of Liberia's global image. United Methodist University suspends social science lecturer Cyrus Johnson days after a viral leak audio recording, says the suspended lecturer has been placed on full investigation. Away from Liberia, fears that South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, could plunge into a new civil war have intensified after the party of suspended Vice President Riek Machar called for regime change. And police in Somalia have arrested full TikTokers for allegedly insulting President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud in a dance video. We take a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you more developments on the program. Many thanks for being there and welcome back. A pro-female campus-based organization, the Women on Women at the Louis Arthur Grant School of Law at the University of Liberia, has donated a large quantity of food items and sanitation pads to the Japanese Liberia Maternal Ward at the John F. Kennedy Hospital in Monrovia. Speaking during the presidential President of the organization, Hazerta Jones Howard, said the donated items were intended to buttress the hospital's efforts in catering to babies and their mothers. She also encouraged the management team at the hospital to ensure that the items donated reach their target beneficiaries in order to reduce daily burden faced by most of the pregnant women and baby mothers.
Thank you very much. I'm really humbled to be here today. And also, I'm very proud that, a segment of the law students are here today, to support women because the organization is called Women on Women. And the intent of it is to support women. And today, I'm also proud that the administrator and deputy administrator, they are both women. And we are here to support. Wait for the juicy part. You will be amazed to know that the administrator and I graduated from Washington University, and at the same time where I serve as president for our class and president for the school. And I'm so proud. I'm excited to be here. Thanks to all of you. And the most wonderful thing is my late mom was a nurse. She even worked here at JFK. She worked till she left this world serving as a nurse. I know what the nurses go through. I know what our mothers go through. And we totally understand. As much as we are students, we also are struggling to put food on our tables. But we thought it wise to come here today to, share the little we have with our mothers and the hospital, to try and keep up the effort that you guys are, exhibiting here. We appreciate all you guys are doing. We don't have much to give, but, as nurses, we know what you guys make and the effort, the sacrifices you make to ensure that the health system in Liberia is being stable in a way. I've experienced it because my late mom was a nurse. Even my big sister is a nurse currently. So I know what it is I've been in the family. So we want to commend you for your hard work supporting the health system in Liberia. We appreciate you. We appreciate everything you are doing here for our mothers. We say thank you, and we look forward to these items that are being donated here today, that they are going to be used for the intended purpose. We pray that wherever it's coming from, God will continue to bless us, and we'll continue to look back to share whatever little we have. We say thank you, and continue to do what you are doing because only God is going to bless you. Thank you so much.
Receiving the items on behalf of the hospital administrator of the Liberia Japanese Maternal Hospital, David Hector Parker Salif, thanked the Women on Women at the Louis Attergram School of Law for the donation.
Of the CEO and the deputy CEO for administration, the chief medical officer of the medical center. My name is Mrs. Daviera A.P. Parker Salif. I'm the administrator here at Maternity Hospital. I'd like to officially welcome you all at our facility, the Liberian Japanese Friendship Maternity Hospital. And for the purpose we are here, we say welcome. And no in depth to have further conversation. Thank you. Some have come from here, but they are mostly in the middle of these things because we have things. So thank you. We should give a message to them and let them know they came from the heart of the Lord.
She's the administrator of the Liberia Japanese Maternal Hospital, David Hector Parker Salif. Earlier, he listened to the Women on Women president of the organization, Azerta Jones Howard. The National Identification Registry is expected to open about 500 enrollment centers throughout the country to accelerate production of national identification cards for citizens and foreigners in a couple of months. The registry's executive director, Andrew Peters, said the opening of the center will follow President Joseph Boakar's approval. He made a disclosure when he spoke at the occasion marking the observance of the International Identification Day organized by the National Identification Registry in Pinzelle on Tuesday.
The National Elections Commission presented to us 500 biometric kits, which we are now working on. And we have earmarked about 500 enrollment centers across the country. And we are hoping that a month from now, the doors of the registry will be open. They want to show you that what transpired during the first process will not be. You have a time and you go and obtain your card. We are also working, our technicians are working to do the card printing on the spot. And we want to show you that this system will also provide opportunities for young university students, high school graduates, for temporary and long-term job to be able to sustain yourself in line with the rest agenda. So we want to encourage you to get prepared, and the rate is here to stay. And in the next 2 years, 24 months, we'll be able to enroll the entire populations of this country, all foreign residents and citizens in particular.
He's the executive director of the National Identification Registry, Andrew Peters. The head of the Christian Association of the Blind in Grand Bassa County, Robert Pado, has described the eating condition of people living with disability as rarely able to afford their daily meals. According to him, they normally go without food in the morning and afternoons and only have a single meal in the evening. Pado explains that the center's residents have been struggling to secure enough food to sustain themselves, adding that they rely largely on goodwill gesture from individuals and organizations.
Where we bless the Almighty God, but on the land, the sleeping place, and on the land, the food, the environment is not conducive for us again now because the rain was ready to fall. All the road that we get to the barroom, it's a 001. What I mean is zero, number 10. In the morning, no food. But the people that we stand for, then in the rain, the sun, in the morning, they eat good food for the go. 12 hours, they say 12 hours, they have to say, then they go to enjoy themselves. But in the evening, if they will bless today, now when the evening go, 1 minute play quiet is all the children are going to school. But when we see the more children are here, then we say, but the papa, why you talking until they can make it? But however, we trust God and whatever on ground that somebody bring for us or bring to us, we appreciate it and tell God, thank you for what that person has done to us. Because then that day our children are sleep hungry. Because those that will stoop for them in the rain, they wait for near 200 days in that period, meaning in Grand Bassa County. The representative center whosoever decided permanently that children are said to say every month we feed them. I don't know that. But it's common, 26 and Christmas. I say, when they did that brown people always they say we want to eat. We say no, we stood for them in the rain, but they push up back. They say, yeah, 2 days we want to eat. Before that 2 days reach, if my family have no die, all my family no die, then I enjoy from you. Then why stay in the rain forever? Because you do all why you want to do that for yourself. But I need a little bit of that grandpa may say, even at one bag already, you can say I will get it. So every month in Grandpa County, it's our telling us. And that means that serious one we live on, many Christian association of the blood, we live on here. The media is a horse, but the matter is a thing that will dress the horse with. When you go behind the horse, you say, why me the wild dog and then human beings here. But when you enter and see the bear out there, how it look like, then you say, oh, but the mattress we want it, we're seeking for it. My brother, the horse now in good condition, beside the big horse, even the big horse, most of the horse, the road are leaking. But the small one that is not your face, but I want to go grab a big one. There are a one for a tapping out, the equipment put there. Then the horse break down and talk about eating it, I sent down. We may appeal to the government permanent citizens they are here, and you don't want to pay attention to us.
He's the head of the Christian Association of the Blind in Grand Bassa County, Robert Pado. They're describing their eating condition as 001. Beyond food insecurity, Pado pointed to the poor state of their environment, describing it as unconducive for people living with disabilities. He added that the challenges have extended beyond hunger as the lack of basic facilities have increased their hardship. Away from Liberia now, fears that South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, could plunge into a new civil war have intensified after the party of suspended Vice President Riek Machar called for regime change. The call came after Machar, currently on a house arrest, was charged with murder, treason, and crimes against humanity. His party, the Sudan People's Liberation Movement in opposition, has denounced the charges as a political witch hunt to dismantle a 2018 peace accord that ended a 5-year civil war. Meanwhile, Extra troops from neighboring Uganda have been deployed to South Sudan's capital, Juba, as tensions escalate. The latest crisis comes as a UN report has accused South Sudanese officials of stealing billions of dollars in oil revenues, leaving millions of people without essential services and fueling the deadly conflict. And police in Somalia have arrested 4 TikTokers for allegedly insulting President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud in a dance video. In the post, several young men are seen dancing to a remix of a campaign song originally used during the president's election bid in 2022, but with the lyrics altered to include derogatory language. In the statement, the police said the suspects were in custody and will formally be charged. They are not committed they have not committed since their or commented since their arrest. Several social media influencers have been arrested and jailed in the past for spreading clan-based insults, enchantment, and immoral content on platforms like TikToks. But this is the first case involving a top politician. To end this news, here again is the headlines. Women's Legislative Caucus of Liberia demand immediate, impartial, and thorough investigation of Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports on rape allegations as civil society group Movement Against Rape and Gender-Based Violence issues 24-hour ultimatum against government. Proposed death penalty for drug traffickers and importers rejected by several lawmakers describe it as total violation of international human rights standards and possible damage of Liberia's global image. United Methodist University suspends social science lecturer Sarah Johnson days after viral leak audio recording, says the suspended lecturer has been placed on a full investigation. And away from home, fears that South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, could plunge into a new civil war have intensified after the party of suspended Vice President Riek Machar called for regime change. And police in Somalia have arrested 4 TikTokers for allegedly insulting President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud in a dance video. Many thanks to all of our contributors, editors, and reporters who help in making this edition of King's Newsroom our sources. For more news and information on the station, join us at 1 p.m. this afternoon for another edition of King's Newsroom. On behalf of the entire team, my name is Cornelius Johnson. Many thanks for listening and watching. Good morning.